Cool. So this is Strength in My Story, and today we have a special guest, a dear friend of mine, one that kind of started me on this whole journey. I did a TED Talk based on Strength in My Story, so this is the opportunity to bring back the interviews. And my first interview for 2025 going into 2026.
Tell them who you are.
I used to be Father John McKenzie.
Still Father John.
Well, you could say Jahan, or I was Jahan first. So, a lot of family, some of my friends know me still call me Jahan, but John McKenzie, and used to be Father John McKenzie. Yeah, so
AKA still Father John. I gotta let people know.
No, I love it. I love it. So, let me say this. I really take that title seriously. It was a sacred title, and I was committed to it. So if I can use it, I can use it. If I don't, I don't. But what's in my heart is always being a good father.
So it's funny because this segues right into what we're talking about. Yeah. So you ended up being.
Can I drink on this?
Yeah. What? Yeah, man. Okay. That's why I'll make the drinks, brother. I'm clearly out because I was drinking. I was pre-gaming. You make this statement that that's a name that you take or that you took serious.
Yes.
As in past tense. So what happened?
Man, I mean, you were there for most of it, and we were just talking just before we started recording. About 7 months ago, actually now it's probably more like 9 months ago, my mom was diagnosed back early March of stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And my mom, a little backstory about my mom, Cynthia Greenlee.
Super dope woman, by the way.
Oh my God, she honestly
still owes me the whole story to the Hawaii situation.
No, I can tell you. I'll tell you about that. But let me say this. She actually loved you. You come over, cut our hair, and I know when my mom loves somebody because she'll start talking about stuff in her past, like. She was talking about DJing with you once, and I'm like, Mom, why are you talking?
Sorry.
I just remember, and like she loved you because she loved people that are authentic. She loved people like she didn't have a fake bone or a political bone in her body. She only knew how to be her, and she loved when people were them. So I could tell immediately. Cause remember that day she talked about DJing, and I was like, why are you telling him? I was like, Mom, you ain't never DJed. She was like, yes, I did. But I could tell she loved you. Yeah, she did. But she was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. At the time, my mom and I were legal co-guardians of my niece and nephew. I'm gonna withhold their names on here because they're minors, but
I'll definitely
give them a shout out.
All right, cool. No.
Y'all know who y'all is.
Yeah, y'all know who y'all
niece,
is.
nephew.
Yes.
They love Mr. Tehran, and
kid's fun.
We were co-guardians, and at the time, we were co-guardians for like 2.5 years together. I mean, we'll get further into that, but basically. When she was diagnosed, I reached out to the Archbishop of Detroit with like, this is my, situation. Is it possible to come up with a plan? And unfortunately, I had the choice that was given to me was to relinquish, rights to the kids in order to stay as a priest in ministry, and there was just absolutely no way I would have relinquished my guardianship. I mean, to be quite frank, it was like what was told to me, what was suggested to me was to give the kids to foster care immediately, even while my mom was dealing with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I just thought, under no circumstance can I do that, because I grew up, I grew up partially with my mom, partially with my grandparents in St. Louis. We always, the code of the family was family raises family.
Well, okay, so we got to revisit that.
Yeah.
Because we had this conversation.
So let me, okay.
But I want to go back to that point.
Okay,
What made you continue that? Because there are people that make a decision like, no, I'm not gonna do what my mom did. I'm gonna do this. Like, this was a moment for you of true sacrifice. What made you have the moment? Because we talked about it. You was like, at first when you got hit with the whole raising kids thing, you like, hey, brother, I'm a priest, man.
Man, I can't be doing
all that.
I can't be doing this stuff.
No, because they took my freedom away, man. I used
so-
to be able to vacation in Florida and this, that, and the third.
I got 2 kids and I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah,
But my question to you is this. You've always known this about your mom.
Yeah.
About her being that person to stand in the gap of marching kids to CPS or marching kids to foster care.
Right.
Like she was that gap.
She was always that.
So what made you, being her son, make that decision to continue that legacy?
You know, and Teron, it's so, I've never been asked that. And I'm going to say this.
Well, you about to get deep, brother. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. I told you I'm ready. And there would be nobody else I would want to be more deep with than you.
Pause.
Of course, pause. But
Lose my train of thought.
It's all good. We got time.
No,
we got time.
but
we're very different. Okay, very different perspectives, very different worldviews. At the end of the day, my mom, and a lot of people don't know this, she was raped at 13 years old, by a family friend, and that always resonated with her, and she knew that affected her, right? And so her thing was she would never want to see anybody, but especially family members, have to go through any situation that she had to go through. And I'm gonna just be straight up. Like my aunt, I'm gonna refrain from names, but my aunt told me your mom was my hero. Because the same dude that tried to rape, the same dude that raped your mom, and let me just, if we can't say rape, essayed your mom, we could be straight up.
We live in a world that shoves things down our throat.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah, pause.
But
pause.
We got to be upfront and honest, because there may be somebody going through this same situation.
Thing, honestly.
There may be a son going through the loss of losing his mother that may be going through the same situation.
Yeah.
So the whole point of Strength in My Story is to show people the strength in stories that we don't even consider gives us strength.
Right.
So this is your moment to really...
Thank you, Teron. Yeah, so my mom was essayed at 13. The same person that tried to essay my mom tried to do my aunt maybe a couple years later. And my aunt tells me the story, like she remembers my mom fighting this dude. And, my mom was a fighter, but I mean, you can't fight a man, but she remembers that, like, my mom was like, that was the type of person, like, if she was down for you, bruh, like, she was on it. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother was like that too, right? I was raised also partially with my grandparents, and my grandmother was like that. My grandmother was, like she raised a big portion of her grandchildren, and she never wanted to see a child kind of go through an upbringing that was difficult, And so at the end of the day, when I got that letter, because I had sent, the Archbishop a letter just saying, hey, here's a plan we have. We have a community. We have a circle of support. We have so many people that...
And you sent that letter, why?
I sent that letter just to tell him, like, hey, my mom is going to pass away, I mean, there's not much we can do in that regard. She is passing away from stage 4 pancreatic. But I have my niece and nephew, and I would like to stay in priestly ministry because we were building up some great things at our parish at Christ the King. And also I was at Charles Nwanga. We were doing great things. We had a team, all about that. And I was saying, hey, we have a community that's being built up. I would like to stay in ministry, but I would also like to care for my niece and nephew. And by the way, folks from this community are definitely about assisting me with raising them, and that was such a beautiful expression of our faith. It was a beautiful expression of humanity, and it was just beautiful to see that.
Spoke to God.
It did. It had everything to do with God. So when I got that initial response back, it took them maybe 6 weeks to get back to me. And I got an email, and by that time, my mom was already about to be admitted to hospice. So her last week on this earth, and I see this long response, and the suggestions that were being made, which is so contrary to what, my mom's life story. And I'm in the hospital room, kind of like this, like sitting on the chair, looking at my mom, who at this point was passing away, and me having to make this decision to put her in hospice, right? After hospice, there's death. So I'm looking at her, I'm reading this note, and I'm like, there's absolutely no way I will ever throw these kids to foster care. And the reason was, and this, like at our at the school, Christ the King, how could I ever go to these kids, take photos, do all the fundraising, say, look what the mission we're doing, and all these kids, and then just know, like, my niece and nephew are in the system.
So okay,
Like, how fake is that?
I want to, because you talk about fake.
Yeah.
I want to give context for anyone listening. So you decide, you see what's going on.
Yeah.
You see that you're gonna have to make a decision about your niece and nephew to really kind of help, because it's just on you now.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, let me send something to the archbishop, because this was a newly installed archbishop.
Right.
Because the previous one, Bishop Vigneron, had retired.
Right.
And then bring in Archbishop. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is Archbishop you're sending this email to.
Yep.
But originally, you wasn't even communicating with the Archbishop. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
And we don't got to say names, but
No.
It was. A backstory is, and this, like, we were very much, and this is why, and we might have to go through this a little bit. This is why I just said this before the recording, like, our good friend, priest friend in Detroit, was saying, you're really good at scouting talent. And when I first saw you, I knew somehow, some way, you were going to be, working with us.
the setup.
But I knew that.
Yep.
Because and then I learned as time went on, okay, this is definitely the guy. But yeah, man, we ran into a lot of my, brother priests in certain positions that just, I felt were not really rocking with what we were doing. And what we were doing was really just the mission of the gospel, the mission of Christ found in the Gospels. That is, preach the good news, baptize people, bring them to the faith. Like, that was literally our motto.
Yep.
And I just felt that. So already in the background, before I even write this proposal, before my mom even gets sick, we were already dealing with a lot of that. And so yes, initially I was dealing with a particular priest, and it's just really sad, man, that at the end of the day, it was like to dead ears in a way.
Now for people who are like, wait a minute, how can you communicate with the brother priest and there's a disconnect? So, and for the people who don't know, you were a monk for how many years?
I lived in Italy for 13 years. I was a monk for 11 years.
Okay, so
yes.
you were a monk for 11 years.
Yes.
You're a priest for you said 6 years, almost 6 years.
So you're a monk for 11 years.
Yes.
You're a priest for you said 6 years, almost 6 years.
Cheers. The anniversary, my mom's funeral was the day of my Thanksgiving Mass as a priest. 6 years.
Okay, so you're a priest for 11 years. I mean, you're a monk for 11 years. You're a priest for 6 years.
Yeah.
Can you speak to just the disconnect or the misunderstanding that brother priests have with one another? Because for me, I would think like, wait a minute, you are all basically disciples of God, disciples of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
why would it be so hard for you to agree to come to each other's aid?
Yeah,
like,
man.
Help the audience
you know-
understand that, because that's something that actually isn't talked about.
It's not talked about. It also hinders the mission, and it's very unfortunate. But I think it's the sin of pride, right? Pride says to man, "You are God. You know, there is no other. Not God is the God, but you are God, and there is no other." And so we get into these, you know, ways of living, how our either priestly ministry or however you want to say it, where we become like little kings, you know. And when you live in that pride for such a long time, and now you're talking about power, right? Now you're talking about authority, and when you have that like power and authority, when you start to exercise it and you just see how people respond to it, there's really nothing that will stop you to kind of edge you on, you know. And so I think that's the real heart of it, is that it's pride that really blocks the mission to kind of continue in that relationship between, you know, brother priest. Because you're absolutely right, there should be no issue like, yo, this priest mom is passing away, he has 2 kids, there should be a real understanding and compassion, and so we're going to let him continue. And I mean, this is out of the scope of the normal thing, but this is his situation. We're going to try to make this work.
And
they ultimately,
But
when
that
you
was-
had a conversation with when you sent the letter to the archbishop, or when you were communicating at first, and then they kind of let the archbishop know, his response to you was what?
Man, like I said, it took weeks for a response to come in. And I remember this day like the back of my hand. It was 7 days before my mom died. And I was sitting in the hospital room, and I'm looking at my mom, and my mom was a tough person. You know, she lived through a lot, right? A lot.
She had a fro.
She had
The hardest to maintain a fro.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't know, clearly, you know, but
She had
nothing
an
under his hat but scalp.
Yes.
She was tough. And I'm sitting in the hospital room, and I'm seeing her body. And this is at the point where I'm seeing her, I should say. This is at the point where I'm having to make the decision to, you know, what do we do? What they were telling me, it was like hospice care is the last thing. We can't do much else. So I'm having to make the decision to admit my mom in the hospice care. And I'm sitting in the room, already contemplating that. Check my email, and I see this long response from the archbishop. And I could tell it seemed like a piecemeal, like there's multiple people putting it together. I'm like, it's just me, man. I just asked for like a simple thing. And, you know, and I told the parishioners at Christ the King, I was very transparent with them. And I have to say this, like, parentheses, there have been so many people that have supported us. So many people. And I really thank God for that. But I'm in the room, I'm looking at my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta admit my mom to hospice. There's nothing else they can do. She can't talk anymore. She had already started seeing people in the room that weren't there. And she was asking me, why is such and such in the room? Why is this? I'm like, oh, she's about to die. And I open up my email, and I see this long letter from the Archbishop where he's like, you know, I want to be more precise, but the gist of the letter was like, you know, give the kids, you know, immediately to foster care.
Say that piece one more.
It was immediate.
He told you what?
Give the kids immediately to foster.
To foster care.
Okay.
While my mom was still alive, so that I can spend more time with her. And I'm thinking like, and I'm looking at my mom, I'm reading the email, and it angered me so much. I closed my laptop, I walk out the room, and I called a good friend of mine, and I was like, bro, this is what's going on. Then I called a priest brother of mine, and I said, hey man, I might need you to do my mom's funeral because I don't think I'm gonna be a priest anymore. You know, and I literally sat back down, wrote up a very simple response. I said, you know, maybe it was like 4 points. I said, number one, would have been great had we talked, like call me, like meet with me, something.
Because he made this decision.
Yeah.
Without actually having a face-to-face
Yeah, I was
conversation.
like, bro, can I get a phone call, something? All right, that was.
This was all the communication was purely through email.
Yeah. So I said it would have been great had, you know, phone call, meeting, whatever. This is serious stuff. Number two is I'm gonna retain guardianship. Number three was I guess I gotta find a job somewhere, and I already found a priest that would do my mom's funeral.
So wait a minute. I know everybody is like, wait a minute. Okay, you mean to tell me the archbishop, the newly installed archbishop, made a decision without talking to you, without seeing you, without breaking bread with you? He made a decision to tell you that you have to put them in foster care, that you have to put your blood, your niece and nephew, in foster care.
Well, let's talk about that.
Why is that? What am I missing? What doctrine did not read?
Well, let me talk about that a little bit because it got a little sticky after that email, you know, because I followed up. And my correspondence was very simple.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to continue with guardianship. If this means I got to step away from priesthood, that's what it is. But we all have core beliefs about ourselves. And, you know, I've learned a core belief through this experience. A core belief to me is that if someone is under my care, just no matter how this person got to me, you know, I'm gonna protect them. One of my good friends from high school, man, he reached out to me. This was months later, and he was like, because he saw my stuff on LinkedIn, he was like, "Are you still a priest?" I was like, "No, I had to step away." I told him, I kind of explained to him what was going on, and he wrote me back. And this was like my high school buddy. Like we hung out. You know, he has a family now. He's making a bunch of money. But he was like, he said, Jahan, because everybody refers me to Jahan that know me. He
Father
said,
Jahan.
yes, he said, how could you ever give those kids to foster care when your grandmother was there for you? And he said, you're just like your grandmother for them. And then he sent us some shoes. You know what I'm saying? So like people that know me, and that's a core belief. And it under no circumstances could I ever have done that. And then I want to talk too, and eventually we'll have my sister and my cousin on or whatever. But you know, like we know what the foster care system is like in Michigan, and unfortunately, it is in shambles. You know, and I was never gonna, you know, I'm a sinner, okay? I am not Mother Teresa out here. I am not Pope John Paul. You know, I'm a sinner looking for salvation in the Lord Jesus. And let me tell you this, the last thing I'm about to be judged on is throwing kids to foster care.
Especially your own niece and nephew.
But see, and that's what I want to talk about, because eventually I did eventually meet with the Archbishop. It was a Sunday, May 25th. I remember this.
After like months of no communication.
Well, let me say this. It was May 25th at 4 o'clock. And I explained to him kind of the situation. Like, basically, you know, my niece and nephew are my niece and nephew. And here is how, right? So my cousin, biological cousin, my mom adopted her as a baby, and you know, she is legally my sister, right? Biologically a cousin, but my sister won't even dare call me a cousin, dare say it. She's like, Cynthia raised me. It was like she basically says Cynthia had her, right? You've always been my brother. That's how we grew up. My mom raised 4 kids and I could say their name, they're all adults. Marcel, Michael, my sister Shakai, and then Angel, right? She raised all 4 of them as her own. I was the oldest, right, of this bunch, but she raised them all. She actually raised their parents too.
Wow.
Okay? My cousin, okay, I'm not gonna say her name, but my cousin, who has a whole crazy story of coming to, she's told me when my mom died, she was like, your mom used to take us when she was 14 years old, my mom's 14, she used to take my 2 cousins, okay, to school with her, to high school at McKenzie. Teachers would keep the kids while my mom went to high school. So she's been raising this side of my family since then.
Yep.
So that's like a deep core belief. But then, I explained that to the Archbishop, and then I turn around, I see a note, for him, and he just refers to my niece and nephew as distant cousins. And that really hit me because I'm like,
But you know what that is, though.
Yeah, what is it?
And this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a lack of understanding of the black family dynamic.
So true.
Because you look at it, how typical white families are. And this isn't a race thing. And a lot of times people be like, oh, black people, they just want to constantly talk about race, constantly talk about racism. This is a reality that you only understand if you black.
Yeah.
So if you're not black, you can't make that statement.
and you don't know.
You don't know.
And my thing is, prudence and wisdom would allow you to be like, all right, my worldview might be very different, so I need to kind of set aside my worldview in order to enter somebody else's.
Yep.
And then go from there.
Empathy at its finest.
Empathy at its finest. But then to refer to them as distant cousins. But I want to talk about that. I don't give a damn if they were distant cousins. They're still young minors.
Yes.
That I'm not still throwing away to the foster system. Guess what? If they were kids on the street and they were under my care, it would be the same thing.
Yep.
It would be the same thing. Because why? I actually believe what we believe about being pro-life. Like, it's not just, oh, don't have this child, but it's like, well, what happens when a child is born? What are you supposed to do? What you supposed to do if you don't? I told my sister, when she told me she was pregnant, this is back in 2017, she was like, I promised her, I said, I'm gonna be there. I was actually there at the delivery. I was there when, my nephew was born. I actually cut his umbilical cord.
Why?
Because that's what you do.
But why?
Tell me why.
You know why.
Tell me.
I put it to you like this.
Tell me.
I put it to you like this. The same way you can make a statement about what your mother experienced when she
Yeah.
was 13, 14.
Yeah.
God conditions us
Yeah.
to move away,
Right.
to think away,
Right.
to feel
No
away.
matter what.
No matter what. Because that's who he needs us to be.
Yeah.
So you were there in that moment. Even though you didn't understand it, you may have, if I know you, you may have just like, where is this at? Where is daddy at?
Right, exactly.
But-
Where did daddy at? It's 17 and a half hours.
as godly men, it's no different than Joseph. As godly men,
Yeah.
no matter if it's our responsibility,
Right.
it's our responsibility.
You cannot sit up here and tell me how we're supposed to be all pro-life and all this type of stuff, and then in my own situation, here is the example of me being nothing but like really pro-life. I mean,
You're speaking to what the church is supposed to stand on.
And hands down, and I'm seeing, my mom there, and like, what? So how could I ever just say, all right, kids, sorry, I gotta go be a priest? And I want to talk more about that. Like, priests can't. You telling me priests
Yeah,
can't?
because he made a decision
Can't
based
kids
on
or
a
something?
situation somewhere else. This was what was the document called? It was,
There was no there. So let me say this.
or I guess the procedure, the right procedure.
But there's nothing in canon law that says. By the way, let me just say
and
this.
canon law is what? Because we want to make sure.
Right. Canon law is the law that governs the Catholic Church.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
it's
Catholic
like their
Church got their
rules.
own law. Wow.
They got their own law, and there's nothing in canon law that says a priest. First of all, because we have married priests, and I want to talk about that too.
Yep.
But that a priest can't have kids under his care. There's nothing in there, right? It would just be like saying the Bible says a priest can't. Like, no, there's nothing in Scripture. There's nothing in Catholic canon law that says what I was doing was wrong. Now, I would argue there's a bunch of stuff in there that says what I was doing was the right thing, based on Scripture, based on church teaching, based on what it means to be a priest. You know what I'm saying? If we're supposed to sacrifice our life, that means, hey, I gotta sacrifice the little stipend I get, I gotta pay for stuff with the kids or whatever. And this is just what you do. This is just what you do.
Does
It's what you do.
And ultimately, I know you brought up the stipend. A part of that decision was, hey, because I have 2 additions,
Yeah.
and it's only me now.
Yeah.
I have to financially
Sustain this family.
sustain this family.
So yeah, my initial plan was, all right, I don't make a lot of money as a priest, and especially trying to raise 2 kids. Now let me say this, without mentioning names and families, there was a family that came to me. This is how it all kind of like came to fruition. A family came to me and said, your mom, we want to help your mom take care of the kids, and we're gonna make sure she's stable, and this was something beautiful, and I just so grateful for this family. And I mean, even that was something I talked to the Archbishop about, and they got turned on me as though like I'm a financial manipulator and all this type of stuff. But
You were snatching money from the parishioners.
yeah, like how, like,
And
bro,
abusing your power as a priest.
why would I act like I wish I would be taking private jets and all that, not caring for three human beings.
We can name some. I ain't gonna go.
No.
We ain't gonna go there.
We're not gonna
We
go
ain't
there.
go there.
But that was yeah.
So you make the decision to
Wait, what
choose
did-
your
Yes.
niece and nephew.
Yes. Which was hard.
And you're battling in the conversation with Archbishop.
Yeah.
Here's my question, because you still didn't talk about this rule that they tried to use against you to say why you couldn't be
Well,
the
the
legal
thing-
guardian of your niece. and
Right.
nephew.
I mean,
The whole thing was, which I had already let them know previously, that I was co-guardian. It's just that now my mom she's not a factor anymore. It's just gonna be me. I mean, what basically what they boiled it down to was like, a priest has to be available 24/7 to, the parish or his mission or assignment, right? Now, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I know the tradition of the church, right?
Ain't nobody arguing with you. Man,
No, and listen.
this do the whole dictionary.
No,
of
but
the Catholic Church.
you
monk for 11 years,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, and all I did was read, pray, study, whatever. But the church has always had priests that had families, right? Priests that were married. That's never been the whole celibacy thing, like in the Western kind of Catholic Church. That hasn't always been the case. Okay, and my thing was, okay, let's just play this out a bit. Okay, let's say if I was married, or let's say a priest that's married has kids. Guess what? Sometimes the wife passes away from sickness. So who's caring for the kids? The priest, the community, family members. Just exactly what was happening to me. And so you can't tell me that there is something somewhere found where a priest can't be given completely to his parish, but also completely to his family, because it happens all the time. And what I loved about what we were doing at Christ the King, we had such a leadership team, which you were an integral person
Yep.
in that. We had a team in place that would help mitigate all that. You know what I'm saying? And I would love for you to talk about, you know, your own experience, because you came from, you know, entrepreneurship. You came from, well, you know, running your businesses and all that. You came from a school, and then, you know, you kind of, I was like, bro, I really need you to
The setup.
the setup. So I'd love for you to talk about your own, like,
Yeah.
what did you think about your time and working in the church?
So for me, and I wanna make sure that we cliff note this or shelf this moment, because there's a question that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
And I'll answer that kind of my experience, but there's a question that I want to ask you as to why do you feel like you wasn't given that opportunity? Why weren't you given that leeway? Is it
Bro,
wait, don't answer yet, because
Okay.
but I want
Alright.
you to sit and think, because for
Yeah.
anyone listening, they're asking the same thing. Like, wait a minute, he just mentioned how there's married priests, there's priests with families. Like, why given this extreme circumstance weren't you allowed the same right? Right? So I want you to
Yeah.
think about that. So
Okay.
so my experience, right? So Father John, you know, let's be very clear, he snuck me in to this job because I was coerced to
Coerced? Oh my God.
to
Now we-
apply to be
now
the
we get
principal.
Oh my God.
And it was very clear that I was not about to get that
Wait,
principal job.
whoa.
And that was not by Father John's hand. Unfortunately, we are in the situation of this. A lot of times jobs know the candidate they want. But in order to make it look like it's open to everybody, you got to bring in people to interview for the position.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not talking about the worldly. The worldly is the people.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the spiritual. The spiritual is the fact that God wanted me in this moment, because my history with Christ the King, the school that I graduated from, I can just give you a simple story to make you really understand my role in Christ the King before I started to work there.
Yeah.
I graduated from Christ the King. I went there from 1st grade to 8th grade. I graduated from Christ the King. My mother couldn't afford for me to go to Catholic school, me and my brother, but she made it her priority to get us there, to keep us there, even when we lived super far. So I give all the kudos and shout out to my mom. But what I realized in that moment, because it was a very hard time for me at Christ the King, and this small little story that I give you will let you know. I graduated from Christ the King, and if you were to see my picture in the yearbook, you will see that there's no picture. It literally has me with a smiley face. The reason why is because my mom couldn't afford for me to get pictures. But I go to a Catholic school. My mom couldn't afford for me to take pictures. And so they decide to put my picture in there with just a smiley face, and my name is there. So I'm counted for, but I am not visually shown in my 8th grade graduating yearbook.
Crazy.
So that's interesting, and that to me speaks to some of the issues that I went through further in coming back and working there. So my experience, I love God. And for me to seek God is my main priority. And at that time, it was my main priority. So, you know, I had a family. We were
Beautiful
talking about,
family.
beautiful family. If I don't shout out my wife, she's gonna kill me. Shout out Angela, love you.
Yes. Amazing.
I walked into this purely from just becoming Catholic, walking in this wanting to show God, I'm with you, I'm for you, whatever you need me to do, I'm down. In the 2 years that I worked there, I realized a couple of interesting things. One, everybody's not about bringing people to God. Two, a lot of people love power, but they don't understand the responsibility that it has.
Yeah.
Three, you can be in a space and in a place with the mindset of, I want to change things. I want to help people get there. I want to help people get to God. I want to help people change this. I want to help people change that. But the one thing that is not talked about in that space is all the people that keep you from it. Because their ideas, their mindsets, their visions are not God-sized. I had a very God-sized imagination, but because God had a different plan. I walked into something thinking like, well, wait a minute, we all here for the same reason. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But he brought me into that situation to show me, Teron, my son, there's a reason why the world isn't changed yet.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the word of God has been spread across the planet for 2,000 plus years. But yet we have own fellow Christians sitting in that don't even reflect or mimic or mirror the Bible.
Yeah.
But that's ultimately because surrendering.
Yeah.
And this is something that I found in my own personal walk. Surrendering to God is the hardest thing. Yeah. And I know none of us was there. We wasn't there 2,000 years ago. No. We wasn't there when Jesus was put on the cross.
Right.
But we have seen images and we have read scriptures where you can feel the tug of war between God and Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, man, God, do I need to do this? Do I have to do this? But when it comes to surrendering, yes, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what I have for you. You don't know what I need you to do.
Yeah.
So I need you to surrender in order for you to be prepared for this.
Right.
And the same way, I asked you the question of, why weren't you given the same leeway?
Well, before I get to that, I do want to say, first of all, I don't feel like I lured you. Because I think
I say I love it.
No, but
God used you to sneak me up.
I do believe
not going back.
I do believe in your heart.
Yeah.
You knew what was the right thing to do.
Yes.
And I remember I want to just testify to this because when I got to Christ the King, there was a lot of stuff going on. It was like we were dealing with
Meet the Pastor Night was crazy.
Meet the Pastor Night turned into
are you gonna support us?
Well, let's just be honest. Like, it was about LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah.
Which I was like, well, first of all, my mission here needs to be very succinct. Yeah. That is, we have a school in Northwest Detroit, to which we have a group of folks in this community that go there. We need to bring the mission of the gospel to these people because our church needs to look like the community that we're in.
And it didn't.
And it didn't, right?
No.
So
you would think we were a white suburban church in Rochester Hills.
Exactly. My thing is like, listen, all this other stuff is noise to me because I don't have time for it. I got one track mind. I'm a one track mind person. I know what this mission is all about. All this other stuff is noise. And by the way, I don't even know what's really going on. So when that night, that Meet the Pastor night, it was just like, man, like I wish somebody had told me what was really going on. But anyway, it was at that night, I think you mentioned something, your wife, Angela, mentioned something. And then maybe a few weeks later, you guys set up a meeting with me. And this was the first time, going back to what I said about fatherhood, spiritual fatherhood, is when I really understood the depths of what that means in my bones. Because you guys came to me and you said, we're going to stay here and you are our spiritual father. And I don't think I ever told you, Teron, how much that meant to me. Because it was powerful, because it was like, if you guys hadn't said that, maybe I would have already petitioned, get me out of here, because y'all didn't tell me all this. But when you guys came to me, there's a young, beautiful black couple, married at the church, came from the school, y'all had all the dots, and I'm like, and then you guys come so humbly in the room, as I was meeting with parishioners, everybody's telling me what to do. I need to support this group, I need to do this, I need to do that. You guys didn't come with any type of agenda thing. You guys said, you are our spiritual father. And I was just, as a priest, but as a black man to another black man, and you are the head of your household, for you to say that in front of your wife was like, it hit my heart. I'm like, man, these people are godly people. You know what I'm saying? And I knew then, you guys were going to be who I could rely on. Because I said, ain't nobody but the Holy Spirit of God put on their heart to say what you guys said. And I needed it, you know, and I really respected, you know, you and your wife for that up until, I mean, I still respect you guys for that. It was beautiful, man. But I knew then, I'm like, I got to get Tarana and Angela involved as much stuff as possible in this church.
Set up.
And we did a lot, man. We did a lot. And I remember we did the we did that thing on the street when we were outside, the revival. And I had mentioned to a couple of parishioners at that point, I said, now, because obviously there was a lot of battle, which you never understood, I never understood. And I remember at the and then Josh starts to get involved. I mean, a lot of people. But I remember at the revival, and I said, and I looked at you, and I said, and I meant this. I said, how is it? Here we have a young man from this community involved in the Catholic Church. I mean, we should be opening up everything for him. Like everything possible, because, you know, God has put his hand over him. And we need, because even I'm a little churchy. I mean, I could be a lot of churchy, to be quite frank, right? So like, even I was like, yo, I need to step
churchy.
I could be a lot of churchy. And I'm like, I need to step back and really allow, you know, this man. And so,
which you did, and you allowed me to really be creatively me with the whole evangelization.
And it was beautiful.
Thing. We got a lot of stuff done.
We got a lot of stuff done.
But to the point, and it goes right back to the question of why wasn't you given the exception? And it was something that I realized.
Yeah.
Just in my role as the pastoral assistant, pastoral associate, trying to be an evangelist, I realized...
Not trying to be, you were.
Well, I say trying in the sense of where I was.
Yeah.
I did it. I evangelized.
Yeah.
But I realized that there were two things against me.
What's that?
And it's to me the stain of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
That isn't truly addressed.
What's that?
There's underlining racism. There's underlining racism in the sense of you may not want in your heart for me not to do better. Mm-hmm. You may not in your heart want me to be great.
Yeah.
But everything that you do, how you say things, how you align things, what you don't talk about, what you don't address, makes it feel like you racist, even if you're not. So the problem in the Catholic Church is there's so many parishioners that have issues, long-standing issues, like representation of women, representation of black people, representation of the individuals that are canonized as saints, people that if you didn't have this group of individuals truly speaking towards evangelizing, in the Theobaldmans, the Premier Toussaint, the Augustus Toten, those individuals opened the door for black people to even consider Catholicism. So it's hard as a black man trying to evangelize a population of people who either, one, when you hear that I'm Catholic, it stuns you.
Yeah.
The amount of non-black people that I've talked to, that I tell them I'm Catholic, it makes them hesitate. As if, well, wow, I've never seen your kind before. And it's like, wait a minute. There are black Catholics. You see this. You've heard of this. This is the thing. But I understand it now. When you don't talk about black Catholics during Black Catholic History Month, which is in November. When you, for some odd reason, are taking your sweet little time in canonizing black saints because you're trying to find miracles. The miracle is that those as black people decided to be in a faith that didn't want them. That's the miracle.
I'm not, you're not wrong. I mean, you mentioned some great figures.
Killed it by the names, bro.
No, Pierre Toussaint. You did
Yeah,
it right.
I killed it. I literally, that's being around Father John because he speaks fluent Italian. I wanted to be per me out of I wanted that boy to roll off the tongue, boy. Because he saw, look, you can't see the face. I'm gonna see if I can show it. I'm gonna zoom in. He literally was like, let's see if Teron about to say this right. Let's see if he about to say it right.
What you gonna say?
I think what you're getting at is.
Don't say because you've been in it longer than me.
No. I think what you're getting at is, I mean, let's be open. Yes, in America, the church has been in some of the hierarchy has shown. I mean, there were slaves and stuff like the church. Like there were bishops that had slaves and religious orders and all that. At the same time, I have to give also good credit where it's due. That is, that at the same time you do see figures within church history that kind of rise above that. And you mentioned some of those people, right? But there's also folks in the background who were white, let's say, and also helped liberate. But what you hint at is something that a friend of mine told me is ultimately there when you're dealing with communication or you're dealing with trying to understand something, there's perspective and perception. And what we get mostly wrong is that I'm not able to understand your perspective because I have a different world perspective than you. People that are successful at it are humble enough to, first of all, recognize that I have a different world view than you, and I don't know your perspective. That's the first key to coming to understanding. The second is stepping outside of my perspective to understand the other. And you asked me about like why wasn't I given? I don't know, to be quite frank.
What do you think? If you could just
let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. Initially, I ended up having, the day my mom died, it was 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, I had a meeting with the Archbishop on May 25th at 4 o'clock. My mom dies at 5:52. So thankfully I was able to see her. But during that meeting, it was like, hey, I'll give you, potentially give you a year leave of absence. So I'm leaving this meeting now like, okay, I got a little bit of room to breathe, I'm gonna get a year leave of absence. I'm gonna be able to figure this out. God will always shine his providence in all this. And then, obviously my mom, maybe as soon as I left the Archbishop, like 10 minutes after leaving the Archbishop's house, I got a call from the hospice nurse to say, hey, your mom is transitioning. If you want to get up here. It was beautiful. Family that were there present. Her siblings that came from out of town were present. It was like the right people were present for my mom's passing. And I was able to be with her, and I just, kind of caressed her arm, seeing how, at that point, I was kind of like, it's time for her to transition, just because, like, her breathing, and it was just like,
she was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's time, But initially, when I left that meeting with him that day, he said, maybe I'll give you a year. I'm thinking about a year. And then when I emailed him, my mom had, passed away. And I'm like, okay, when does my year leave of absence start? And I get a note saying, well, your situation doesn't warrant a year leave of absence. You got 30 days. And I'm
a year went to 30 days.
A year went to 30 days, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I don't have time to deal with this. Like, I can only process so much. I got my mom's death, who now I got to organize a funeral. And by the way, during this whole time, since March up until May, I had never taken a leave of absence. I was still present in the parish. Of course, you had stepped up a lot. Of course, a brother priest had stepped up a lot. Of course, the principal had stepped. Everybody stepped up and did their part. I actually remember, and I want to get back to this, but I remember, this is something too I never told you. Remember that mass you came to? It was the school mass, and our one of our students had been asking to sing, and then I guess the choir person had let her sing that day, and she was singing Amen, 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 and she sung the Our Father, and I just broke down. I couldn't. It was like I'm like I can't take it anymore. Like I'm dealing with the archdiocese about me taking care of the kids after my mom passes away. I'm taking care of my mom right now. I'm still doing stuff in the parish right now. I never let any of that go. I was also, me, a life learner, I was taking this Harvard leadership program. I'm still taking care of my niece and nephew, getting them to school. And it was like at that mass, when she started to sing, I couldn't help but just break down. And I remember it was during the time when I was handing out communion, and you looked over to me and you grabbed the paten and you just handed, and you just continued to distribute communion, and you said a couple words, and I was just like, I feel so blessed that I can break down in this way, knowing that somebody's here that I can really lean on, and I really thank you for that, because
I got fired.
Here I am trying to be, No. I'm not trying, and by the way, I don't get like emotional.
Yep.
I don't really.
So I crack a joke.
You know what I'm saying? But it was that moment, man, meant a lot to me, because I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen, because I'm like, my whole world is caving in right now, unexpectedly caving in. But I know that I'm just trying to like figure out like, what did I miss here? Like, did I miss something? And just to know that I could rely on you, as well as others, but in that moment you were there.
It was me and you against a lot.
Yeah,
and it was always like that.
It just kept constantly being that way, and it's just like, why? So you ask why? I don't know why. I wish I knew. The Archbishop in his letters that I can remember, it's not like I spill over them, read them all the time, but he was just like, well, this is church teaching, but he never gave me a specific thing from like the catechism or scripture, or catechism is a book of like church teachings or whatever, like, and I never got anything outright like, okay, here's a quote from a father of the church or theology or whatever. Like, I just never got that. He just would say it, and I'm just like, well, okay, then if this is church teaching, then it should be so plain and simple. Also too, I had always told the people at Christ the King and also at Charles Awanga, I would be always upfront with them. Like, I'm never gonna hide anything. And I was telling them all along. And what I was kept picking up was this question that you asked was, why? And I just never knew. What I had to do, honestly, man, is what was the toughest thing is to hide all this from my mom. Because
you had to be strong for it.
Well, let me tell you. So back in 2018, I was ordained a deacon, and I was at a city parish, and my mom was like, you know what, I'm gonna become Catholic. She was like, my son is Catholic, he didn't move back from Italy, he's gonna be a priest, I'm gonna become Catholic, but I'll do it in my way. That was my mom's thinking. Of course. And I was like,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
do it in my way.
Right, exactly. I was like, you do you.
I'm gonna
You
do this, but I'm gonna do this in my way.
I'm gonna do it in my way. And I was like, you have at it. And she met with Father Don Archambault, actually. Shout out to Father Don Archambault. Great priest in the city. He retired now. She met with him. And I kind of kept it chill. I'm like, all right, she gonna meet with him, whatever. This is 2018. And the same time, that same fall or whatever, you know, there was this Cardinal Archbishop of DC. He had retired, McCarrick, who I think he died already, but he had been, you know, kind of credibly accused of, you know, molestation and all this. And here's the Cardinal of the Church. Now, my mom, like I said, she was SA at 13. And when she saw that news, she said, son, I can't be anywhere where, you know, young people have been harmed. I just can't do it. And I respected her for it. I never defended like the church. I couldn't. And I'm like, we just kept it silent. So but she said, you know, I don't think you're like that or whatever. I know you, you know, but I just can't do it. And I just said, okay. So, okay, my mom gets sick. She goes to the hospital. And the first day it's just all emergency tests and all this. The next day, she's a little bit more calm because now they discovered the tumors. She already had a stent placed in her. And at this point, she is much more resolved at like the monumental moment she's about to have, right? And she looked up at me and she smiled and she said, you know what time this is, right? And I said, I said, I can give you an anointing, but you know what that means. And she said, I know. She said, I'm ready to become Catholic. And, you know, I put the stole over me. And it was just her and I. And she recited the creed after me. And then I obviously gave her communion. She was receiving the church. And it was her first time receiving First Holy Communion. And it was beautiful because she like kind of laid back. And there was this powerful moment of like silence of God. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, I can't say anything right now. And she can't say anything right now. So we're just gonna pray. And I just felt God's presence right there. And then after that, you know, she just kind of laid back in her bed. And then I got up and gave her a blessing. And obviously and then I just left. And I said, hey, I'll be back tomorrow. You know, we'll get the doctors, this and the third. But that was like a real, again, moment of faith. And having now corresponded with the Archbishop about certain things, I could never tell her, like, you would not believe what they're trying to tell me. Like, that would have just ruined it, you know? And I'm like, that was the biggest secret ever to keep from my mom.
How hard was it?
Because she would have been like, bro,
I'm curious.
take back that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't doing this.
No, get me out.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to battle your faith within the church and with God at that moment?
Man, it just, I don't know, man. It's weird because I felt like, you know, and you and I had talked about this months before all this happened, right? Remember I had the retreat. I was already feeling something was going to happen. So I felt like God has got to have his hand in all this. But damn, can you give me a break somewhere? Like, can you give me some a life vest or something, because I can't take it. But I knew God was ultimately there, so I never doubted him. But it did start to speak deeply to, my faith and what I thought was where I should have felt that the support came from. And let me say this, support was there from day one. Like, we ain't never had to listen, these kids have not been without a meal. Blessed be Jesus, because we have had nothing but great support.
Oh, John got a village.
We got great support from people, man. It's such
I
a
know how
blessing.
good all the meals was, because we know how that stuff is.
I know, but it was a blessing.
We appreciate it.
We do,
we do.
and you guys know who you are,
Yeah.
and I love you, and I would,
Shout out to the Golden Rule.
yes,
Treat
I,
people as you want to be treated.
yes, and I would die for some of these people. But I thought, here I am who's supposed to be remembered. My understanding of spiritual paternity, spiritual fathership is something sacred. The archbishop, that's your spiritual father. This is my spiritual father. And I'm only getting nothing but a blockage and obstacle.
Yeah, treat like a step kid.
Yeah, and I'm like,
A bad one.
this is crazy. And
So you a Cinderella.
I know, and it hurt deeply. It hurt me deeply, and it still plays its effect. I mean, I've moved on since then. I've become Orthodox and all that, and we could talk about that. But and I have a new spiritual father, and I've done therapy and all that. But I still go back to like, man, bro, like, you were my spiritual father. I would never, ever, as a spiritual father, as a father, leave a son dry. Like, give my son water, give him compassion, whatever is needed. And that's another thing about worldview. I don't know a worldview that doesn't throw your heart out to something. And I know you're like that too.
Yeah.
We don't know a worldview that puts up stipulations, especially when you're supposed to be all in. But I've learned that there are people, in the church that do, and they don't have a problem with showing it.
It's unfortunate. Part.
It is so unfortunate because, and just think, man, when you're given 30 days to, say, relinquish guardianship in order to continue on in the priesthood, you got 30 days to figure out life, basically. I had 30 days, bro. 30 days. I gotta find a job. Gotta figure out everything in 30 days. But guess what?
You did it.
God did it, bro. God did it. It is unbelievable that, like, in that short amount of time, I was graced with a job. We had a circle of support for the kids. I had my insurance. I didn't know this, but at the time I had my insurance. Had my health insurance got taken away, so I actually had to pay some stuff. But it got paid. So it happened. But what I feel too, and part of what I wanted to talk about and just bring this to light is like, at the end of the day, still a community lost, their spiritual father. And that hits me a lot when I think of you. I think of the people that we were putting in place, our team, our parishioners, the mission that we had in mind. I think about the school families. Look how many, first of all, we had families from our school that became Catholic, and I felt a certain responsibility toward them. My nephew Cameron, my good friend Gerald McBride, they were confirmed. I remember, and I hope Gerald is okay with me throwing your name out here, but Gerald and I, we've been friends for so long. He grew up Catholic and then he left because he's like, bro, I don't see how this is really, how's this all working? And then I remember he came to me, he was like, man, I see what you're doing at Christ the King. You got these young adults there. Like, you built up a community. I like that. Like, that's the type of church I want to be a part of.
Evangelization.
Precisely. And he became Catholic. And I'm like when when I confirmed him, I'm like, dang, like, God is doing something here. Because I know the conversations him and I had. My nephew, Cam, was like, yeah, I want to get baptized, but, I don't know. And then I was like, you know what? I need you to get with Tehran and work with Tehran.
Shout out Cam.
Shout out Cam. But you work with them, right?
Yeah.
Look, we had other families from our school that whole families were becoming Catholic.
Yeah.
Like, whole families start to get, oh wait, what they're doing over at the school is because what they do in the church. But more importantly, is because what they believe. Because they actually believe what they say, and they pray how they believe, and all that enters in. And so why would I not do this? So all that was scattered because I had to make a choice between my family or the church. And there was my niece still goes up to the church because they have Girl Scouts, and there was a student that would always come. I love this student, but she looked at me one day. She was like, you abandoned us, and I looked at her and I said, I just smiled. I said, no, I didn't abandon you, and I always love you guys. But in a way, she's kind of right. But I was put in such a situation where I had to make a choice between the mission that we were doing or raising my family or giving 2 kids over to the system. And that's, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, because look at what has taken place. You're not there anymore. A lot of people have left. People don't know the compass anymore, the mission. I've left, right? Like, look at what happened. Like, that's what we call the scandal. That's literally scandal. That is placing obstacles before the mission of God. That's literally what a scandal is. All because I had
2 or 3 people.
Because I had to make a choice, and that is something that, if you want to say that weighs on my heart the most, is that, because I'm like,
the choice that you made.
The choice that I was forced to make in such a short amount of time, and you couldn't have the foresight to see what we were doing was the mission of Christ, just simply the gospel. Nothing. We weren't doing anything, and people knew that. I remember talking to a friend of mine, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying his name, but I'm not even going to put him out there. I'm sure he wouldn't, because he'd be like, I don't give a... But this dude, benefactor, okay, pretty influential in Detroit, he called me once. He said, Father John, I've called the Archbishop, I've talked to this priest, I've talked to that priest. I told him, you will never get a dime because what I just witnessed here. And he was like, we're about to take this to the news, we're going to do this. And I said, you know what?
That's worldly.
I said right now, all I could think about was what we were about to eat. My niece and nephew, I got to fix them food. I got to get them to school. That's all I can worry about right now.
A spiritual father that became
a father. And that's all I could worry about. And I'm like, I can't do it. But if you want to say something that's been most at my heart, is that, and I try to pray about it, but just not, as a man, we're doers. We're protectors. We want to see the things work out the way they should have been working out. And you look at what has happened, and it's like,
it's hard.
It's hard, man.
It's hard.
It's hard. And to see you, and I ain't even gonna lie, like, I'm like, bro, like, why? Like, I want to know, how did you feel when, you had to leave or was asked to leave?
For me, I went to school at Christ the King. I've roamed those halls for a large portion of my life.
Yeah.
Walking away from that, even though I wanted to walk away from the church stuff because it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't about God at that point.
Yeah.
To walk away from the school was hard because for me, I was the kid who needed someone like me.
Yeah.
Like, all the conversations I've had, all the things I've helped students with, all the things that I've purchased that no one knows about, the apparel that I created, everything that I did was so that they could see someone that looked like them, that cared.
Well, what was your famous phrase? We didn't
For
grow up
announcements?
No, we didn't grow up as having superheroes, so we want to be the superhero.
Oh yeah, no. It was this quote that I came across right when I had got a divorce. It said, "Become the hero you needed as a kid."
Yeah.
And for me, that's everything that I did. I wanted to be that superhero for those kids, and it hurt because ultimately, because of how I was fired, it made it look like I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sit up here and say I was a perfect person. It was very clear what they were doing, how they were doing stuff. So I'm like, okay, if you're gonna just voluntarily push me away, I'm gonna stay away, and I'm gonna just do that. But I gave it an opportunity to say, like, hey, I created a list of all the things that I was doing for the rest of the year, for the students, for the community, for the church. And ultimately, when I had a conversation with the person that was the interim principal at the time, he was like, I gotta talk to Father such and so.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I never needed this person's permission before. Why do I need it now?
Right.
Because how I feel is, okay, you've never been here. You don't know anything that we're doing. You don't know what we're about. How dare you even have an opportunity to speak about whatever we're doing, just because you were put in a place of power.
Right.
See, for me, I saw this situation. I saw what was happening, and I went against it. But I knew what was going to happen I am not new to being the person going against leadership or the boss or whoever makes the decisions, because I don't just agree with everything blindly. Who does that? It didn't make sense.
Had a couple arguments.
Oh
so
yeah,
I know that.
but see, the arguments that we had was to make things better.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize then was the situation that you were in. And I got to see it full-fledged when you literally got pushed to the side because you didn't want to give up your kids to foster care, which is crazy. And even after you left, I still vocally spoke to that. Like, this is ridiculous. Who are you to come in, the priest that came in as the disciplinarian? It's like, first of all, who are you to come in here and talk about a person to us that we spent 3 years with?
What I loved about that moment is and you said this, but somebody else, I won't mention the name, was like, bro, we've seen this dude's mom come in with these kids every Sunday. Don't talk to us about him having his niece and nephew. You talking about the kids we know about? Don't do that.
It didn't.
And it was a flunder. It was a flop. I think what they were trying to do,
Protect themselves
and trying to make it seem like, I was this bad person, and I left the faith. I became Orthodox and all this type of stuff, and they thought they were gonna come and show up, and people were gonna be like, yeah, that's right. He just left us. They already knew, because I would tell them. The day I met with the Archbishop, that was a Sunday. That same Sunday, I told the people. It was First Communion. I remember saying, guys, I got a meeting with the Archbishop. I mean, basically, he's been telling me this. I've been thinking this. I don't know what's about to happen. Just want to let you guys know. So that was something that, I always let the people know. But yeah, to show up like that is just, but it's just so indicative to the way things are. But I thought, when I left and you were still there, you still you cut our hair. So I mean, we would talk a lot, and I'm just like, man, I feel bad because I know what's about to happen.
You left me.
I know what's about to happen.
You left me.
And I feel for you because again, you ultimately think at the end of the day, we either are thinking with our three brains. One here, the other one you can guess where it's at. I've learned ultimately, as much as I would like to think up here, I think ultimately with my heart. And I know that you do the same thing. And you and I, it's hard for us to see a worldview that doesn't think with the heart. And with the people in most need. Because that's how we see, like you said, bro, you saw your mom, she put you in Catholic school, she couldn't pay for you to get a photo. But you knew she was like hard working, right? I mean, I went to Catholic school. I remember my mom having to do like the little concession stands and all that just to, you know, to keep me in Catholic school or whatever. Like we saw that. So you're talking to a group of men that not only know the struggle, who have been in the motherfucking struggle. So don't come talk to us about anything about how to be compassionate, what this, that, and the third. Like we live it automatically. That's not it. It ain't something that's just like, oh, how do we learn how to? No, we live it. You know. And so when I saw that for you, that really hurt me because I really know where your heart is, and I'm like, man, I just see the writing on the wall. When I knew when I knew at the end of the day, they ain't give a shit about what I was going through. I'm like, man, I don't know what. This is scary. Like, this is on some like horror movie type of stuff. Cause like, here I am. I mean, you know, I'm supposed to be like a whole priest out here. Yeah. Right? Like
one of the few African American.
The only
priests.
At that
they
point
were retired. They were two retired.
I was the only African American priest, and not trying to say just because I'm the black priest, I'm supposed to get all this special attention. But you would think, all right, what can we work out here?
If it's in the community of Detroit, which is primarily black Catholics.
You would think, what can we work out here?
Yeah.
Let's work out something.
Yeah.
Something.
You could have been the archdiocesan golden boy. Like, man, we got the token of all tokens up in here.
That's the point, because I can't be used as a token.
That's the thing.
I couldn't be, and you know the meetings we were in, like I could never just settle for, all right, I'm just gonna abide. And that's the real thing, and that's where I look at like my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather too, just being at the end of the day, like, I mean, I could probably have been, you know, because I lived in Rome, I could probably have been like some cardinal all up in here.
Yeah,
I could
like 4 languages.
I could be very like
do it during mass, like show off.
Man,
I care if you speak Italian and French.
I could be very like in that world, but see, having grown up the way I grew up, at the end of the day, I can't be fake. You know what I'm saying? I can't be false.